everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Heike and you're watching Stone Cold Coffee Crafts, and yeah, I am back. I'm back again after weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. I am so sorry about that. Yeah, welcome back to my longtime viewers who already know what has been going on this channel for over a year now. And also welcome to all the people who found me through my whip parade that I posted at the beginning of the year. I am so sorry you had to wait until now to see another video from me, and I will try to explain just a little bit why that is. My head is still a strange place. It has been for over a year now, and I currently struggle a lot with editing and uploading videos. Not so much with the filming part. I don't know why I can get that done, but after that, I usually have such a hard time to sit myself down and even do the minimal amount of editing that I do, like putting the pictures in and putting the intro and outro in and stuff like that, and then uploading everything to YouTube. I'm working on it. I am really hoping that I'm going to get structure back into my YouTube live and maybe be able to at least upload every other week or so. More on that later, but that is why I hope you will stick with me like a lot of my longtime viewers have. So thank you very much to all of those, and I really hope that all of us together will finally reach the end of this struggle bus journey. It would be amazing. It's been so long and I hate it here. So I would be very grateful to finally end this dumb journey. But let's do this Flosstube thing, shall we? This is my third attempt to film this and actually get this uploaded. And every time I attempt this, I have one more finish to show. So buckle up. We have multiple finishes today. And first up is my Plum Street Samplers Halloween piece, the Toil and Trouble, which I showed in my work parade, and it was, I think there was still quite a bit to do, because I vaguely remember that I did a lot of stitching on this in one go. I'm trying to get the light a little less egregious. One of these days I will actually manage to set up lighting that shows everything like it's supposed to be, because this is very blown out and very cold. I have not purple hands in real life, so I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. But maybe give me a sec. There, I got a new filming light, and I can actually adjust it from very cold light to daylight to warm light, and now we are nearly on the warmest setting, which isn't quite as bright, but at least it shows the colors a little bit better. It's not a whole lot better, but it is a little bit better. I think actually the issue is my iPhone, which I'm filming on, but yeah, tangent, we're not going to talk about this. So this is Toil and Trouble, like I said, by Plum Street Samplers. I have stitched this with all the called for stuff. So I got the fabric, which is a 40 count vintage pear linen by Lakeside Linen, which was a huge pain in the ass to get. I started kitting this up in 2020, right at the beginning of the panini, I think, and Lakeside Linens was nowhere to be found, so especially not here in Europe, but back then I had a much easier time shopping overseas than I do now. So I tried to find this. It was sold out pretty much everywhere, but the lovely ladies over at Traditional Stitches in Canada were so helpful, and they special ordered this for me. I think it took 8 or 10 weeks for Lakeside Linens to fulfill that order. It was quite a bit of waiting time, but it was okay. Later in the panini, different story. So it was actually quite short compared to that. And yeah, they got me the fabric, and I was able to kit it up with my local online stores and stitch it as called for with all the gentle art colors. This is all gentle art. The only thing I did, I rearranged the colors for some of the trees, and I also changed some of the pumpkins down here because there was one thread, and I don't have it with me, didn't write it down, but it was a thread that was supposed to go in this tree here, and it looked exactly like the outline color, which is always a problem with these hand-dyed flosses, especially if you can't buy them in a physical store and see them when you do, like me. I have no chance to do that. So this happens to be a bit of an issue. So what I did is I nixed this color completely. So I didn't stitch this tree in this color, and I also didn't stitch some of the pumpkins down here in this color because it was just blending in this other color so much. So I decided to go with just the white and the burnt orange for the pumpkins. I think these are like called for. I think this one was supposed to be orange, but this was not, and I think this also was not supposed to be, and I'm not so sure about this white one, if I did it as called for or not, but I think I did. Don't quote me on that. It has been so long I have forgotten. But anyway, what I did was I rearranged a little bit, and I stitched this tree in orange, and I also moved some of the colors around. So this green was not supposed to be here. That tree was actually supposed to be this color, and I think this was also supposed to be in the same color this tree was supposed to be in. So I absolutely did not like that color. Took it out, made some rearrangements, and this is where we came out with this whole piece. And I like it quite a bit this way because the orange happened to be my favorite color, and I was actually quite sad that it was always only supposed to be in this tree here. It has the best variegation out of all the colors. It is just this beautiful warm burnt orange. It's actually also called burnt orange, and it's just so pretty. So I was so sad that it was only supposed to be this little. So not sad about the fact that I pulled in some more of it. And then also this on the sample looked much greener, so that's why I decided to pull over some of that green over here to give it just a little bit more green. And I feel it's a little bit more balanced like that. I don't know what you think, because there's this rule of 3, and I technically I broke it because I now have 4 green pieces on this piece, but I just like it so much better this way. So I guess goal achieved. So this was my dark 13 piece since the end of August. And now that it is finished, I have one more that I started on a whim at some point. So next up for dark 13 will be the Cute Patterns by Maria Ghost Sampler, but I have not worked on this, and have nothing to show for that because I skipped dark 13 this month. I will talk about that in a moment. But I will pick it up again at the end of the month, I think, because March has a 31st, so I still have a chance to do dark 13 for this year. Yeah, but this is Toil and Trouble. I've had this pattern pretty much since I picked stitching back up as a hobby. I picked it back up at the end of 2019, and I think I got Toil and Trouble as one of my very first hauls, I think even in 2019. So I am so happy to have this stitched. And if you're looking for a piece that has a lot of mindless Netflix stitching, basically, this is ideal because once you have stitched all the outlines for the trees, you just use one color to fill it all in. I have watched so much TV while doing that, and, well, TV, Netflix. I actually watched Wednesday and Sandman while doing this, and it was so fun because it's so easy to do. So yeah, highly recommend this. If you've ever thought about stitching one of the older Plum Street Samplers patterns, I can absolutely recommend this. One more thing, I nearly forgot. So in this house here, we actually have two colors of gray. These towers here and this little piece up here, they are stitched in two-tone grays, and my grays didn't quite come out like the model on the pattern, so it was not as easily distinguishable, which is why I added in a little bit of backstitch here to just separate the towers and also the steps of the stair leading up to the entrance, because it was barely visible that it's two different colors, just to make this a little bit more clear. Nearly forgot about this. This is another thing I added in. But yeah, this was quite the enjoyable piece. It is now going to go into the finished pile and probably never going to be fully finished because that's also me. So then for February, because it was Black History Month as always, I picked up another piece that I started last year in February, which is Natural Beauty 3 by Filanthrope, which is a French company. I bought this as a full kit. And like I said, I started this last year. I also got a decent chunk of her face done, and then I lost steam on this. I don't know why I did not enjoy this the first time around I worked on this. I think as well it was the combination of the printed fabric, which makes it a little bit harder to stitch on it because it's quite gummy when it's printed. And also this is not DMC or Anchor or Cosmo Floss. This is Aurifil, which is more like a sewing yarn. A sewing floss. Sorry, yarn is that's a German thing. We call everything yarn. So I always have to remember that I have to distinguish between floss and yarn in English. But anyway, so this is done with Aurifil, which is more of it is a cotton, but it is different in the way it behaves. It is not quite as smooth, but it doesn't fray as much on the other hand, so it has its pros and cons. But first time around I worked with this, I did not really enjoy that. Before I started this piece, I actually looked into maybe converting it to DMC, but the DMC color palette is lacking quite a few of colors that the Aurifil palette had. So that's why I never actually did do that. This will not make it any better, will it? I'm sorry that I keep fiddling with the light. Anyway, so yeah, I picked this back up and the goal was to finish it this year in February, and I did. I actually did it with a lot of time to spare, which I am very, very happy about. And the second time around, this was much more fun to do. Actually, it was so much fun to do that now I am reconsidering my stance on getting the other two kits. Natural Beauty 3 was the first one they have released, but since then, because I have had this for ages too, it was also one of my very first purchases I made after I started stitching back up again. This was definitely beginning of 2020 haul. I'm pretty sure about that. Since then, they also have released Natural Beauty 2 and 1. So I am thinking about it. I'm really thinking about it. I mean, the printed Jovelin still is a little bit of a pain to stitch, but I just like how the end result looks. So this is actually playing with the printed background being there, and then with density of color, because this down here is not 3 different colors, it's just 2. It's the black with two strands, with 1 strand, and then the gray. And it's just such an interesting method of doing it, and they have done it with multiple colors. There's this rusty brown up here, which is also partially stitched with 2 and with 1 strands. So this is such an interesting piece. And yeah, if you can get used to working with the Aurifil and on this printed fabric, I absolutely would say go for it, because this is just gorgeous and very unique. There are very few companies that chart pieces like this. Full disclosure, quite a bit of backstitch, especially up here in this part. And also, this is all French knots. Just to show this a bit more up close, it's all French knots. There's a bit of blending going on in this piece, so this is not all just always stitched with 1 color. There's quite a bit of blending going on. If you're not a fan of this, maybe stay away. But if you don't mind backstitching, if you don't mind French knots, if you don't mind blending, and you are open to try new threads, might like this. So Filanthrope is a company in France, I already said that, and they sell this as a full kit. That's what I got here, but they also sell the PDF pattern. But just be warned, there isn't a good DMC conversion. I am not sure about Anchor. I don't have an Anchor color book, so I'm not certain. Probably should get that one at some point. But yeah, if you can get your hands on Aurifil and you would like to try this on a non-printed fabric, even though I would say get the kit, because the fabric is also a very important part of this, you could get the PDF pattern. It's of course much cheaper, because the kit was 59 euros, I think. It comes with everything. You also get a needle, and it has, like I said, all the floss. It has the fabric, it has the pattern. So it comes with everything you need except for whatever you use to stitch on. So I guess it is probably not more expensive than kitting this up, but don't ask me. So that was my second finish. This was the first finish of February. So Toil and Trouble was a January finish. This was the first finish of February. I think Toil and Trouble was a January finish. Oh my god, I was this prepared, and now I am all confused again because I didn't grab my iPad, which has the data for Toil and Trouble. But anyway, definitely a February finish, because after I finished this, it was time for galantine stitching, and I pulled out the Friendship Sampler, which is, oh god, this is so horrible, this lighting is so bad, which is a collaboration between Bendy Stitchy Designs, Michell Bendy, and the Blue Flower, Janine McGowan. So the upper part was designed by the Blue Flower, the bottom part was designed by Bendy Stitchy. And because this is called the Friendship Sampler and it consists of 2 parts, my friend Rachel Raycraft and we decided we wanted to stitch this together and also for each other. So what we decided to do is we stitched the upper part for ourselves on our sampler, and then we would ship the whole thing over to the other person, and the other person would finish the bottom part. We also decided we are not going to try and fit our stitching with the other person's stitching, because Rachel and I, we happen to cross our axis in the opposite way. And I'm so glad we decided on that, because I can absolutely not stitch crossing the other way. I tried up here with this little flower over ships because she forgot to stitch this, and I offered to stitch it in. And because it was in the upper part, I of course stitched like she stitches. Not that you can actually see this on this fabric because it's tiny, but if someone was to go up really close up and have a look, they would be able to see it. But yeah, I was like, nah, this hates me. So yeah, but this is done. This was my second finish for February, and I was so proud to get this done in time for the month to end, because now it can be shipped back to Ireland and she can do whatever she wants to do with it to finish it. I'm going to frame mine. I got a gorgeous frame already. It's already waiting in my living room. I'm going to show it to you once I have fully finished my sampler. Rachel's currently working on it, and I have a feeling she's going to be finished very soon because she's putting a lot of work into it right now. We are also very opposite in the way we work on things. So I am someone who likes to pick a focus piece and then work and work and work on this one thing. I don't like switching whips all the time, and Rachel's actually someone who likes to change her whips regularly, and I guess it is this progress and product stitching thing. I wouldn't call myself a full-on product stitcher because I enjoy the process quite a bit too, but I want to have the finished piece at some point. So that is why I like to stick with things so much, I think, because it makes my brain happy. Gives me all the good brain tingles. So this is stitched on a piece of 40 count Early America linen by Barbara Creations, who is a fabric dyer out of Hungary. This fabric shows horribly on camera right now because it has a tiny bit of a purple undertone. It looks very gray. It's not a gray. it doesn't show up at all. Maybe if I come a little bit closer. Nah. Okay. No, it doesn't want to. This is actually a giant piece. Rachel can do another thing on this that is exactly as big as this one. It only uses up half of it, even less than half of it. And her sampler is stitched in Classic Colorworks, Gentle Art, DMC, and Fiberlicious. The Fiberlicious is actually both silk and cotton floss. The silk is here in the lettering, also up here in the lettering, and then in the fox. And the cotton floss is this purple. That is in the shirt of the bear. There is not a whole lot of that purple in the bottom part. It's mostly here in this one donut, in this donut. So there isn't a whole lot going on. So to show that color best is actually to show the bear and get a little bit of light. So it actually shows purple. I am getting really desperate because this lighting is horrible and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But anyway, this is done. This is done, and it was I think done a couple days before the end of February, but I decided the rest of the month was going to be for knitting because I neglected my knitting quite a bit. If I get full on down the rabbit hole, I need to finish this thing. There is nothing else. I get tunnel vision and I am super hyper focused on this one thing. So yeah, but I'm happy this is done. We started this last year when she was here to visit me in April, so it's quite fitting that it's done now, nearly a year later. And knowing me, it will take me at least until April to ship it over to her. But to be honest, I have one more thing I have to do before I can ship her package, so I guess. So that concludes the finishes part, and we're moving on to works in progress, and I have worked on 2 pieces in March so far. The first, it's always the first every month, is the Dark Queen of the Earth. And I need to rearrange the cat bed, because apparently the furry little assistant isn't going to join us anyway. So you saw this last time in the whip parade, and I think at that point, don't let me lie, I think at that point we were down here. Maybe? I feel like this one was part 6 and this was part 7, that I know. I feel like this was part 6 here. The upper body, and yeah. Last time you saw that, I think we were down here because this was part 5. This part of the background and this one here. And then we moved up to part 6, which was this part here and the bodice of the dress and the leaves. And then the latest part, the March part 7, was this twirly thing here. So that's where we are now. Stitching this took me quite a bit longer than it usually does. The Dark Queen pieces are huge, but like I said, tunnel vision. I have a gift. I can completely go crazy with the hyperfocus. So but I didn't do this in March. It took me until the 11th, the 10th to finish this, which is like twice as long than it usually does. But finished it is, and I am still so in love with this piece. I love the Dark Queens. Dark Queen of the Sea was already so amazing, and I loved her to pieces, but I think Dark Queen of the Earth is going to be even better. I don't know. There's just something about this that is so good. I can't wait to see her face, because quite honestly, Dark Queen of the Sea, when I stitched her face, it just blew me away. It was so gorgeous. I have never seen a fancy lady with such a beautiful face. The faces are usually what makes it or breaks it for me, and quite often it breaks it for me. Which is not the designer's fault, in my opinion, because the faces are such a small part of this already huge pattern. This is ginormous. This is a full fat quarter and couldn't be any bigger to go on this. So the face is such a small part, and to give it a lot of detail and expression is really hard when the face is such a little thing and such a big piece. So it's not that I blame like Mirabilia or Bella Filipina or something Lace is another company that does fancy ladies. It's just that Erin does it so amazingly. So if you don't like sorry, that was a laugh and a cough in one. If you don't like fancy ladies, usually check out his fancy ladies, because you have the same issue. But maybe you have the same issue. Geez, my brain is I didn't mention it in the beginning, but I have started back up work last week, and I just came off my half day of work I'm currently doing, and my brain is drained after 4 hours. Which, oof, because I'm actually usually working 8-hour days, so I'm like, this needs to stop. But yeah, sorry for all the misspeaking. This is just my brain being like, hey, can we just not? Can we just veg out? But yeah, so I'm so excited to see where we are going to go next. I have a feeling he wants to keep the face and the hair last this time. So I feel like next time he might release the upper corner pieces. So he has styled these pieces. He says Art Nouveau. It looks very tarot card to me because the Dark Queen of the Sea had these corner pieces up here, and I think you can already somewhat see that this here frames the whole thing, and then there's also this circle. So that also happened on the Dark Queen of the Sea, and I'm expecting that because the corners were part 8 on the Dark Queen, that he probably might release the corners next. I am not entirely sure if I'm going to stitch them. I didn't like the corners on the Dark Queen of the Sea. I just didn't like the look. They kind of stood out too much and looked weird to me. So I decided not to stitch them. I didn't feel like the piece lost anything by not having the corner pieces. I also extended the framey part, this part here, because it's very suddenly cut off on the Sea Queen. It was made of coral and of seaweed and stuff, and it very suddenly cut off, so I extended some of that to make it a bit more natural and flowy in shape. But I don't think I have to do this here. We'll see. So I'm thinking that I'm going to leave off the corners just to keep them the same look overall, not to make them too different. But I will wait and decide on that when the part actually gets released. So this is stitched on a piece of 28 count opalescent linen, again by Barbarol Creations. It is called Thunder. The fabric that was especially dyed for this, both the Dark Queen of the Sea and the Dark Queen of the Earth had special fabric created and dyed for the stitch along by Under the Sea Fabrics. And this year we had 2 fabrics. One was green, one was a golden brown. I loved both fabrics. I just didn't like what my brain imagined the color palette would look like on the fabric. It was a little bit too samey for me. I like to have a fabric that really contrasts the piece, so I prefer something that is not in the actual color palette the piece is stitched in, but still fits it. So in this case, it just was this very, and you can't really see it, it is a very moody purple. So this is a moody purple, toned down purple, and then there are these golden brown blotches in it that don't really show up at all on camera, but I thought this was perfect because there was no purple, not a single purple in the called for floss, but the brown ties it in a little bit, and also the purple is actually a nice contrast to the colors and goes with them instead of clashing with them. And yeah, so I'm happy with my color choice. This is stitched in all the called for floss, which in this case are mostly DMC. There is one Rainbow Gallery Silk Lame, which is this light, super light yellow down here in the dress, and it also shows up in these little fairy holes. I think I'm going to sneeze any moment now. I am sorry if I do. And there is Petite Treasure braid, which so far we have only used for the back stitching in the wing skirt here. So I am hoping there will be a little more, especially because there is one color we haven't touched yet. So yeah, for the Dark Queen of the Sea, we didn't use a whole lot of the Petite Treasure braid that was called for, but I know we used some of it in the center of the swirly because this was supposed to be the magic. And the center had the blue petite treasure braid, so I'm kind of waiting to see when it will come up. There are some big flower thingies that will be stitched here, I think, and I think here, if I remember correctly. Maybe those are stitched in the glittery floss. But anyway, can't wait to stitch some more sparkle. I mean, I have a sparkly fabric. One would think I don't need more sparkle, but I need all the sparkle. Not too long ago in my Twitch stream, I basically put it that way. I am a sparkly bitch. So I just love it. And let's hope this is far enough into the video that YouTube won't get their pearls clutched too tight about the fact that I used the word bitch. So yeah, once this was finally done, I could move on to my focus project for the month of March, which was my Owl Forest sampler. Let's see, can I get this all in frame? Maybe if I push the light a little bit. So yeah, here, all in frame, amazing. This is a sparkling spring. It is one of the 4 seasonal samplers by Owl Forest, and these samplers are all the same as in that they have this centerpiece which is made up out of, if I keep my dark arm in here, it appears a bit lighter on screen, so let's do that. This is all special stitches, so this is daisy stitches, long stitches, rope stitches, all the special stitches, and it's all the same size. The outer frame is the same on all of them, and then the special stitches are a bit different. And then we have this these little band motifs that go around. And yeah, last year I finished the winter one. Was it Frosty Winter? I don't remember. But I finished the winter one in, I think, January or February. And I really enjoyed this. So right after that one, I started the spring one, and then I lost steam. Seems to be a little bit of a recurring theme. But after picking this up twice more and not really getting into it both times, I decided March. March is the month of spring. Actually, is today the first day of spring or tomorrow? Today is March 20th, so I think tomorrow. So this is actually quite fitting. And I did get a lot of work done. So when you saw this in my whip parade, I had this done. I think I had this motif done, this motif, this corner piece up to here, and I had started this band because this is where I picked up when I pulled this out on the 12th. And since then I have gone crazy bananas on this one. I am nearly done. So I have 3 more motifs to finish, 2 of which I have started. This is the left big corner piece. This will go up to here. So I will turn the corner here, and then it will go up to here. And then there will be a small motif here. And then the second big corner is this one here, which once again will turn around here and probably go up to here. I think that's as much as the final little motif takes up. I can actually show you because I have it here. Why explain when you can show? So this is the full piece. Yeah, and this is what I'm talking about. This is this small thing that is still missing, and these are the 2 corners I'm stitching on. So this is definitely going to be a finish this week. And yeah, I can't wait for it because this has been way too long on on my frame. I'm usually with Owl Forest. I enjoy stitching them so much that I usually work through them quite quickly. So that this took me so long blows my mind a little bit. Also, I don't think I have ever had to frog as much as I had on this Owl Forest, because I know that one time I picked it up, I pretty much abandoned it because I had to rip out pretty much everything I had done on this piece here because it was one stitch off. And you might think, why make so much I can't find the word. Why be so particular about being one stitch off? This is all super symmetric. So usually I wouldn't bother, but I have learned that with Owl Forest you will see the tiniest mistake. You might not be able to right away spot it if you haven't worked on this yourself, but you will always notice that something is not right. If something is off. Which is freaking annoying. Because it means frogging if you make some mistake. But yeah, I guess I have learned to accept it. And just like on the winter sampler, I have learned that this blue is one of my favorite colors in the whole thing. I'm not a super fan of how they have combined it in every single motif. Like, I'm not a super fan of this combination of the purple and the blue up here, but I love when they combine it with this muted pink, which right now to me looks very purple on screen, but it's actually pink. So they've done it twice. They have done it in this and in this motif. And I think look-wise, this might be my favorite flower motif out of all of them. Though I have to say this was also very fun to stitch. And it was very coincidental that the leaves look nearly identical. And not 100% identical, but the variegation happened to happen very identical on both of them. Which is amazing. So yeah, this is nearly done. I can't wait for this to be done. This corner piece is such a pain in the ass to stitch, so this is going to be what I'm going to work on today because I want to get it off my chest and then stitch something that is a little bit more fun, a little bit flowing better. So some motifs flow quite well and some motifs don't, and this definitely don't. This definitely doesn't. This does. So I'm looking forward to stitching this quite a bit more than this. Yeah. So this is a full kit. Owl Forest, before certain things happened about a year ago, they sold most of their stuff as kits and you couldn't get the patterns. Nowadays you can buy the patterns on Etsy. They have a partner in the EU that is selling the patterns for them. So if you do not want to spend the money on the whole kit, you now can purchase the patterns for around $15-ish, I think, on Etsy. But they also still offer the full kits. I will be honest with you, don't buy them right now. They are so expensive. This kit is currently listed for over 80 euros. I didn't pay half of that, if I remember correctly. So whatever shipping service they have found through which they can actually get money, because they are in Russia, and actually ship stuff out, they must charge a lot of fees because their prices have gone sky high. So yeah, I totally recommend all their kits. They are fantastic, but not right now. Wait, because the prices are not okay. As much as I love them, not okay. Or get the PDF pattern. The only thing, you won't be able to get the threads. So what's in the kit? In the kit you usually have the fabric, the pattern, the floss, a needle minder, and a needle. And the fabric is always Zweigart fabric. In this case, I think it is raw linen. They do not give a color number or color name on the package, but by the look of this, this is just undyed, untreated, just how linen looks linen, so I'm thinking this might be the color raw. And it is a 28 count. And their flosses are in the kits usually based on DMC floss. They also have a Russian brand floss that is much cheaper, but I think it's a very different quality. I think they say that as well on the homepage, that people who are used to DMC and Anchor probably won't like this. And they are specifically hand dyed for their kits, and they are amazing. They always have amazing variegation, and I enjoy stitching with them very much. So that is why I personally A, am so glad that I have a giant owl for a stash, and B, will not buy any of the patterns from the Etsy store, because I know I won't, or I do not want to stitch them in DMC. I mean, I have a lot of the Owl Forest floss because I have tons of their kits, so I probably could try to match them up with other hand-dyed floss, but I haven't done so. And considering that I cannot just go into a shop and look at the hand-dyed floss, it also seems like a lot to do that for me personally. But yeah, you can stitch them in DMC, it's just not the same, is what I'm trying to say. I have stitched this, of course, without the called for. I made one change. I changed the color of these birds. These 3 yellow birds up here were actually supposed to be stitched in this beige color, but it didn't really stand out enough to me. I mean, you can see it here. The nest is stitched in this color. This branch is stitched in this color. This branch here is stitched in this color. And it really blends into the linen fabric. So that's why I didn't like it for the birds. I felt like the birds needed to be a bit more colorful, a bit more cheery. And since the piece has nearly no yellow, or it doesn't have any yellow in this part here, in all of this, so the first yellow hits here, here, and here, I decided that it could have a little bit more yellow up here, and did the birds in yellow. But that is the only change I made. Everything else is just as charted, and as always, very beautiful. So yeah, I expect to have this finished by Wednesday probably, and I'm looking forward to that. And I think I have picked out the next Owl Forest that I want to do, and it's going to be a small kit, because this is a big one. This is really a big one. So that is my second whip. And that is all I have worked on this month. Which is still a lot. I mean, I've stitched quite a lot on these 2 pieces. But this brings us to plans, and what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to really try and do this because I need to get back into some sort of rhythm, I think, to get regular video content for my channel, so you don't run away from me anytime soon, I hope. What I'm going to do is I'm going to aim for 2 floss tubes a month. One of them on the last day of the month, as if possible, or the last-ish day of the month, and one more towards the middle. So that being said, I am not going to film a floss tube in a week from now or so, because that is too close, and the only thing I'm going to be able to tell you is that I finished my Owl Forest sampler. But as of April, I'm going to try and have a floss tube up in the middle of the month to just check in and see how far I've gone on my plans and how things are progressing and stuff. And then at the end, just to wrap up the month and also talk about the plans for the next month. Which means we are talking now plans for April. My overall plan for this year, even though I do not have a giant stack of whips, as you all know, I started the year with 11. And I have since finished 3 of them. I'm about to finish the 4th, so it's actually looking good. But what I would like to do is by the end of June, I would like to have, no, I have one more because Rachel sent me one more. We will talk about that next time probably. So 12. What I would like to have is 6 by the end of June. So I'm going to pick a focus piece each month, and I am tasking myself with finishing it. To keep it realistic, I'm of course going to pick pieces that are finishable within the month. So the Sparkling Spring, even though it's a big one, as a focus piece I knew I could finish it. I started really late in March. I only started on it on the 12th, but I stitched so much of it in just a week. And yeah, I'm going to meet that goal. It's just 2 or 3 more days of stitching and it will be done. What is that screaming going on downstairs? I'm so sorry if you can hear that. There is like a little shop downstairs and also a school very nearby, so there is a lot of noise happening here all the time, every day. But anyway, so for April, I am going to pick a piece that I've been working on forever. And that is actually ridiculous considering that it's so small. So this is, I have to keep my arm in the camera, I'm sure about that. Sorry if that looks awkward, but apparently the dark fabric makes everything look better. Anyway, this is Long Dog Samplers, Forevermore. This is one of their smaller patterns. It's only 4 pages, and what you see here is already a good chunk over the halfway point. So I have 1 full page still to do, and this is a little more than half a page, I think. I still have to do here. So this is absolutely doable. I'm stitching this on a 28 count opalescent one-of-a-kind fabric, linen, hand dyed by Rolanda. This blue is magnificent. I love it so much. I wish it wasn't a one-of-a-kind because I want to stitch all the things on it. And I am using a Silks for You silk, color code PR053. It's a variegation going from cream colored to this very light tan color, because I didn't want white. I thought this would be the better option. Stark white seemed to be very strange, and I also wanted to stitch this in silk. This was my first ever time stitching in silk, and I love it. The Silks for You silk is fantastic, and I wish that it hadn't gone up that much in price, at least for me. I don't know how it is for people outside of the EU, because I have to pay VAT on everything, which means everything is 19% more expensive than the seller actually lists it for. It makes a lot of international shopping so much harder because it's so much more expensive. But yeah, this is fantastic silk. If you can get your hands on it, do so, especially the big hanks. I'm so in love with that. There is one fantastic silk dyer here in Europe, Mrs. Sadis, and I am absolutely going to buy silk from her in the future. But I have to say she doesn't sell hanks of white silk, which I'm very sad about. I got a hank of white Silks for You right before they closed down due to the panini, and I love it to death. I wish I could get it all the time, every time, without having to pay a kidney on the liver, but now I can't. So I shall treasure it until I run out. Yeah, so there's that. So this is going to be my focus piece in April. I hope that I can get the same success I got on the Sparkling Spring, because I have a hard time sticking with this. I don't know if it is the general style or if it's the monochromatic stitching. I just don't stick with it for very long, and then I'm bored, which is very not typical for me. But yeah, so plan. This is my only plan. If I finish early with this, I'm going to pick something else and work on something else, no problem. But I'm trying not to put too much on my plate. So this is very manageable, very doable. And I think I should be able to finish this easily and without putting pressure on myself, which is always a good thing, especially if you are a person who is currently fighting burnout, even if it is your hobbies. So yeah, so this is my plan. This is my plan going forward as far as video content goes, and I think now we are going to talk about where did I spend my money. So keep in mind, this is my haul for, I would say, 2.5 months. It is not crazy much. Not that I'm trying to excuse having spent like hundreds of euros. I did not, but it might look like a lot, and it really isn't, especially compared to what I used to buy in just a month. So Casa Senina had a sale in I think it was beginning of February or the end of January, because I think I already had all of this when I tried to film in the beginning of February. So they had a sale, which of course meant I had to buy stuff, as you do. So what I bought, and now just don't remember where I put it afterwards, is some Q-snap thingy that's not actually a Q-snap. It's by a company that operates from Turkey. Can't show you that one, but if you are looking for a slightly cheaper alternative, it's pretty good. I liked it. I'm overall not much of a Q-snap fan, but I wanted to give it a try because I didn't want to cut Rachel's fabric on the friendship sampler, and it wouldn't fit my my regular roller frames. So yeah, that's why I got it. And I also got a couple of Nora Corbett / Mirabilia patterns, because I like me my fancy ladies, apparently. And it seems like I am now collecting them, even though I have no idea when I'm going to stitch all of them or where I'm going to put all of them. So I got the September Fairy from the monthly Fairy series of pattern. My birth month is actually August, but I love how the September Fairy looks. I just love the look of it. So I went for that one. I'm still thinking about getting the August one because it's my birth month, but that's where we are going to start. And because they had them available at the time I ordered, I also got 2 of the bead packs. There are 2 more I need to get, but they were not in stock. And then I got the Miss Ginkgo, right? Yeah, Miss Ginkgo by Nora Corbett. I just love the colors. There is no fancy floss going on or anything. It's just DMC and some beads, but I just love the warm, fiery colors. There is a whole series, I think, of 4 patterns that follow the same color scheme, and I have a feeling that she might not stay alone for long. And because Casa Selina is one of the only places where I can get them, I also got a Bella Filipina. I got Aquila. I think it's Aquila, right? Queen of the Skies. And she is absolutely fantastic, like all of the Bella Filipina patterns are. Again, I think the color palette, I seem to be drawn to the yellows and the oranges right now. It just caught my eye. So good. So good. And then I ordered from my local online store here in Germany, because I am currently, again, I did it last year, I'm doing it this year, I'm going to collect the Cottage Garden pattern for this year, which is the Snowman Collector series. So we have the first one, which is this Snowman Santa with, oh my god, the little rabbit, isn't it too cute? With the sewing stuff and the little rabbits and stuff. It's just so cute. And then I got the second one, which is the clown. I've seen that the third one is now available from my local store, but I have not ordered it yet. It can wait. It will run out. And they also had Gobble Gob in stock. So I'm still collecting the stacked animal patterns for my big sampler, and I'm thinking because Paulette is still releasing them and they are cuter and cuter with every release, that I might get enough patterns to actually do 2 samplers, because right now I'm stitching on a 9 stack sampler, and I think that's not enough, so there might be a part 2. I have to see. So that is the patterns I got. And then I was talking about earlier that I do not have the ability to go into a physical store and actually look at fancy floss. So I decided what I'm going to do now, it's going to be a long process. I'm going to just order fancy floss and build a reference collection. And when I have to kit up something, I'm just going to go into that collection and see if I like the colors, if I want to change something, etc. And if I take the colors out, I'm just going to reorder them to basically replenish the master set, so to speak. And I started with Classic Colorworks and the letter A. I got all the floss with the letter A that were available when I ordered. There were a couple that I missed. I know one was apple fritters, and there was a second one that wasn't in stock. Those I will order whenever they come back in stock. I'm having a spreadsheet because of course I do. And I'm going to order, not every month because I have not ordered anything in March, but I'm going to slowly order my way through the colors and the letters. So next up will be Classic Colorworks with the letter B. I think letter B is not a whole lot, but there's a lot of letter C, so maybe I'm even going to make it one order. Let's see. But yeah, that's the start of my master set, which is very exciting. So this is not for a specific pattern. And then for a specific pattern and not super exciting, I had to order some DMC. And some DMC meaning these colors here, because that were all the colors I was still missing for my planned big Halloween project, which is Halloween at Hawkrun Hollow. So I had gone into my stash and I had picked out all the colors that I already had. Some of them, as you can see, already were in use for something else. Some are still brand new. And these are the colors I was missing, except for one. One I'm still missing. The 8... Which one is it? No, 9, 20 something. One color, 924. So basically a few shades lighter than this. I think this one goes from lighter to darker, or maybe the other way around, I don't know. But something that is very similar to this shade here, just either lighter or darker. And there seems to be a production issue with that right now. So it wasn't available in any shop, and one shop also stated that there is some kind of production thing going on with this particular color. So I still need to get that, but I am not planning to start this piece anytime soon. So I'm currently thinking October and make it an October focus piece and stitch as much as I can on it in October until I'm either completely bored by it or it drives me up a wall, because I'm going to stitch this on a 46 count fabric, which is going to be my first time. So of course I'm going to pick a giant project for that. as we do. Yeah, so this is my regular haul. And then we have one more thing. And this is not a first time look because I was not able to wait until my brain finally decided to be an adult. I got my February box, my burp box from Miss Late Pages. Jessie, my dear friend Jessie, they came out with a Stitchy box. And it is absolutely freaking amazing. I don't know if they still have leftover boxes. I will check the website and link it down below because they had leftovers, but I don't know if there are still any because this box is amazing. And everyone who did an unboxing on YouTube went completely wah about it. So I had originally planned to film an unboxing too, but then my never edited and uploaded Flosstube just made it impossible for dumb brain to get around that. So here we go. But we're still going to look into it. So one piece out of the box I have here with me. It's this little metal tin. It came with some candy and I still have some left over. And I have this on my desk because once all the candy is gone, I am going to use this to either store some smaller stuff I need on my desk, or maybe I will make it an orange jar. I don't know. But something will happen with it. Also, this box, I am so glad that Postal Services didn't ruin it, because I want to keep it forever. I was so proud. I was so proud that they managed to pull this box off the way they did, and it was also so amazing, because spoiler alert, it is. So I'm never going to get rid of this box because it's a proud friend moment. Stuff sticks together. So basically, I've put everything back in here. It was packaged very lovingly, and I'm kind of sad that I did not do the proper unboxing, but I'm still going to show you. So this box, Jessie from Miss Late Pages contacted a few creators to ask to collaborate on this box. Jessie dyes fabric, so that's their main business, and you will see a few pieces of fabric in a moment which are stunning. But Jessie also designed a pattern for this box, and they got Bendy Stitchy and Uncanny Kari and these 20 stitches to collaborate on this box. So first up we have this art piece by Kari, which is this burp flower art piece, which is so amazing. I got two, so and I completely forgot to ask Jessie about this. So I think this might have been a mistake. I think you were only supposed to get one, and I got two. And then there are the patterns. So the first one is Pocketbook Peacocks by Michell from Bendy Stitchy Designs, and I absolutely adore these peacocks. They are so good. Let's make. The second one is Rebirth, which is based on the artwork. Very, very, very clearly based on the artwork. By Uncanny Kari and these 20 stitches. Again, so stinking cute, and all the fabrics you see here are Jessie fabrics and are in the box. And the last one is Spring's Promise, Jessie's first pattern. And I don't know if you can see it very well, but it is so good. Can you see the iris flowers and the two swans? It is so good. So good. Again, proud friend moment. So let's have a look at the other stars of the show, shall we? Because Jessie dyes fabric. Their fabric is ice dyed, and it is just, oh my goodness. I wish the camera would show this a little bit better, because it's actually showing much more muted on camera than it actually is. It is so good. So this is the fabric Renewal. And Renewal is, if I am not mistaken, the fabric that is used for this one here. Yes, Renewal is used for Spring's Promise. And it is so good. I just love this fabric. I picked the 32 count linen option, but Jessie also had Lugana and Ada. So there was something for everyone. Then the second color, my voice is going to die. The second color is called New Spring. It is this mixture of yellow and blue, which of course again creates some green, but I'm so stunned. This ice dyeing technique gives the color this watercolor effect, and I'm so in love with that. And this actually shows up pretty true. So I don't know why the camera doesn't like green, but this shows up pretty true, and it is the fabric for Rebirth. But at least I'm not the only one having trouble with the fabric showing up, because you can see in the model stitch how blown out it shows. That's because fabric can be so difficult when you want to get it photographed. And look at this. This is so pretty. So pretty. And there's a bit of fuzz on it. And last but not least, we have the fabric called Awakening, which is this amazing orange and corally red mixture. And of course, we already know this is the fabric where Pocketbook Peacocks is supposed to be stitched on. It is so good. I could not tell you which of these three fabric is my favorite. I just love them all so much. And whoa, Jessie fabric. I finally have some Jessie fabric. I can't wait. I will be visiting Jessie in May after we go to Stitch North, and I can't wait. I'm going to buy so much stuff. So, and then there were a lot of good things in here. So there were multiple versions of the box, and I picked the full-fledged, I think was what it's called, which means I get bougie silk floss, so I get dinky dyes. These dinky dyes are, of course, the colors that you need to stitch the patterns, because everything else would not make any sense whatsoever, would it? And look at this. This is so amazing. This is such a beautiful color palette, and this is so much of a pop. I just love this color. Oh, did I see the, ooh, I have a Avoid Kitty hair. It's either Momo or Loki. And yes, I'm a crazy cat lady. I am happy about other people's cat hair on my stuff. Because everything in my house is drowned in cat hair. So this is so beautiful. We have 8 skeins of dinky dye in wonderful colors. Dinky dyes, again, such good silk. Just like Silks for You. Wonderful silk. I have worked with them before, and it is amazing. But Jessie did not just dye the fabric and design a pattern. They also made some accessories. So we have this little floss ring with the bird logo, which again I just adore. And then we are stuck together here. We have a needle minder, again with the birdie from the logo. The needle tin with the logo. And then it also has, no it doesn't. Didn't it have a magnet, or did I just lose it? So usually what you can do, you can stick this to your fabric as well. But maybe that didn't come like that. I don't remember anymore. I'm a bad person. And, oops. Because Jessie hasn't made enough yet. They also made this scissor fob. Oops. Hold it in a way that people can actually see it. How about that? It does not want to stay on this side. So they made this little scissor fob, and this bird fits the logo so perfectly. And of course, if you get a scissor fob, it's also good to have some scissors. So Jessie just put a pair of scissors in here, which is amazing because I just lost mine. I always wondered how you can lose a pair of scissors, and now I did it. Also, a pack of needles, because everything in the box to get you started on your cross stitch. And this is something I have never seen. It's a snag repair tool. So I have no idea how to use it. I have to see. But I'm very interested. I'm very interested to see what this is for and how you use it. So I will check on YouTube if anyone has shown what this is and how to use it, because it's very rare the day that you give me something I have never seen before when we're talking one of my hobbies. Because once again, I like to dive down rabbit holes until there's no further down to go. These are floss cards, floss drops with the branding once again, and of course there are 8 because we have 8 colors. And last but not least, we have a few stickers, 2 little birds. Then, of course, the February box and Jessie's shop logo in general. This is only my second Stitchy box ever. Stitchy boxes are not something that are easy to get here, and that is why I never had any before last October. So only my second ever, but it is so good. It is way better than my first one, and my first one was an Autumn Lane, so that was already good. This is way better, and I have to say I have watched Stitchy box unboxings, and I'm not meaning Stitchy box as in Stitchy box the box, because I think there is a box called Stitchy box. I mean all Stitchy mystery boxes. And this is so much better than anything I have seen before. So I can't wait for the second box, whenever that is going to happen. I have a feeling it's going to be February. This word is so hard for me. 2024. But yeah, I will patiently wait for that, and I will totally buy it again because it is so good. So if I finish on my focus pace in April early, there's a very good chance that I will stitch at least one of these patterns, because I really want to do it. The fabric is so good, the patterns are so fun, and there is no useless stuff in this box, and I'm so happy about that, because my gripe is useless stuff in boxes. You know, just stuff that will lay around or stand around and gather dust. I am not here for it, and I know a lot of people love it, so I'm not trying to rain on your parade if you love this stuff. I just don't. So this is why this box was just so good to me, because everything in here is useful, coordinated, and it is 100% stitching related. Literally the only thing you could say that is not explicitly stitchy is this little tin, and even that even that is a great orts collector thingy if you do that stuff. I know not everyone does. I generally don't collect my orts like and collect them, but while I'm working I like to put them into something and then I throw them out. So I'm not a person who collects them throughout the year and then does something special with the collected orts. But yeah, still like to do that. Anyway, that is all. Oh, just an hour and 16 minutes. Fantastic. Oh, the little voice in my head that doesn't want to do any stuff after filming is already rearing up its ugly head. But we are going to do our best to get this done, aren't we? Voice in my head. Anyway, thank you for being here. Thank you for sticking with me through this insanely long video. And let's see if I can stick to my plan to be back with my next Flosstube around the 15th of April. Somewhere in this vicinity. I will try and have different videos up too. But just if you're one of my diamond painting friends, I think that my content this year will be heavily fiber related, so both stitching and knitting. I just have to see what I will come up with as far as knitty videos go, because I do not knit as much, so I don't see myself filming podcasts. But yeah, we shall see. Stop talking now. All right, everyone. Bye.